Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today is Monday, and it's another episode of the Price Variance. So for the last couple weeks, this is the second week of it. We've been looking at authors that we really like, and ones that maybe you might like. So each of us will present one author on each of our channels. So today I'm gonna show you. Mark's going to show you on my channel his author choice, and on Mark's channel you're going to get to see my author's choice. So stay tuned for part 2 on his channel. So first, let's get into it. Mark, what do you have to show us today?
Okay, so my author, and I think he does some art as well, he was a war photographer in the Vietnam War for the Navy, I believe, for the US Navy. And after leaving the forces, he went into comics. And do you know who this is?
There's
not a lot to go on, is there? But you've got the age of the guy by the fact that he was in the Vietnam War.
So I'm thinking like 70s, 1970s author. So we got. So the big ones were like Moore came out of that time period. And
he was British and he didn't fight in the Vietnam War, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so that's
this guy's a bit older than Alan Moore. This guy's 79 currently, he's still living.
Wow. Okay. I'm just trying to think of my 1970s writers. We got Jack Kirby, which is 60s, 70s. I don't know.
Jim Starling. It's Jim Starling.
Oh, geez. Okay, yeah. I was getting there. So we got Thanos love.
So he's known as Mr. Cosmic. So I'm going to show you probably one of the most valuable comics in my collection.
Okay.
And it is Iron Man 55.
Mm-hmm.
It's a yellow label, so it's signed. And it's a 9.4, and it is quadruple signed. So it is signed by Jim Starling, Joe Sinnott, Mike Friedrich, and Stan Lee. So I think this is a unique item. I've never seen a quadruple signed copy of this in any grade. Mm-hmm. So that's a bit of a star of my collection. It is, of course, got a whole host of first appearances. So most famously, of course, it's the first appearance of Thanos, but it's also the first appearance of Drax the Destroyer, also the first appearance of a character who's just made his MCU debut.
And that's Eros.
Yeah, aka Star Fox, aka Harry Styles from One Direction. So so we've just had the Eternals movie. I saw it yesterday. I thought it was great. I posted I really liked it. Yeah. Okay,
I've heard such bad reviews of it, so I haven't watched it yet. But
yeah, no, the critics didn't like it at all. For me, it was my favorite movie of the year so far.
Oh wow!
Yeah, really loved it. Yeah.
Wow, that's high praise, actually. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was my best Marvel movie this year to date was Shang-Chi, and I think it's slightly better than Shang-Chi.
Okay, I thought Shang-Chi was good, but it was kind of weak at the same time. So
okay, well, it's each of the, and I mean the worst one was Venom. I didn't think Venom was that good.
Yeah, I thought Venom was pretty weak.
Yeah, this has got great characterization. Got all the Eternals being introduced, which I think he's done pretty well. Mm-hmm. Richard Madden's acting is dodgy, but the rest of it is fine. The director's really good, and I think it's the fight sequences with the deviants is really. Anyway, I've done a review on my channel, but yes, I think it's good.
I'll have to check it out. So that guy that you just mentioned, he's the one that's playing the Black Knight?
No, he's the one who plays what's it called? Icarus.
Yeah, okay. I don't know
Kit
the Eternals that well in terms of characters. I'm not as familiar with them, but yeah,
I think that's why it's not as easily accessible as something like Spider-Man, because everybody knows Spider-Man, everybody knows Superman. Here we've got a whole range. I think there's about 7 or 8 or 9 of them who nobody's ever heard of. You know, they've never appeared. You know, the general public will not have heard of any of these people, and therefore it's more challenging to get into it because it's not, you know, with Spider-Man movie, you know exactly what you're going to get. You don't have to work very hard. With the Eternals movie, you have to be thinking, well, what the hell's going on here? I mean,
so there's a lot more.
I personally liked it because the movie starts up in 5000 BC when the Eternals put on Earth to fight the Deviants. And they supposedly wipe out all the Deviants, and then we cut to modern day, and it goes to modern day London to a place called Camden Lock, which is where I used to have an office. So I was very familiar with that. Very familiar with that area. There's a sort of canal runs through it, and they filmed this at Camden Lock, and one of the Deviants comes out of Camden Lock Canal, which I thought was very appropriate because when I was working in Camden, there were plenty of Deviants wandering along the canal.
Interesting. So yeah.
Anyway, so I've got a bit more Jim Starling stuff here.
Did Starling have any involvement with the Eternals?
I don't think he did. No.
So he couldn't even connect it. Oh well. So go on with Starling.
other than that fact that it connects to the cosmic. They're a part of the cosmic force, and you know Jim Starling was known as Mr. Cosmic. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
You know, he created Thanos, and I saw a really funny interview with him saying, you know, whenever he worked for Marvel, what he was really doing was just rewriting Thanos. He was trying to write more Thanos, and we'll see that as we get into this. So here is another nice run by Jim Starling. It's the Strange Tales run of Warlock. Yeah,
I really like that. That's one of my favorite covers for Warlock, believe it or not.
It's a nice cover, isn't it? Yeah. And then next up, you know this one as well, because I did this as a Guess Who and you got it. Yeah, spoiler alert again. In the final credit sequence, we get the appearance in the MCU of Pip the Troll, and this is the first appearance of Pip the Troll. Also, in the same interview I saw with Jim Starlin, he was asked by the interviewer which of his characters he would most like to see in the MCU, and he said Pip the Troll. So Jim Starlin's wish has come true. In fact, there you go. There's a connection with the Eternals movie and Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin created Pip the Troll. Oh, well, he created Eros.
And Eros too, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
So that double connection.
Double connection. So first appearance of Pip the Troll. That's just my spec book. You know, Pip the Troll's just appeared. He's going to be in, I suspect, the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So I think this is a pretty good spec. And the next issue as well, this is a really good run of Strange Tales because you know whose first appearance this is.
Gamora?
And probably the worst cover for a first appearance.
Terrible cover. Yeah,
it's an awful cover, isn't it?
I should almost show you. There's a corner where you're showing the books that are in my corner. I have this corner of Warlock right here. Right. Not sure if you can see it. It's like all the books that you're just showing right now. It's kind of funny.
And then I don't think there's anything special about this one, but it just completes the sequence. It's the next one.
That is something.
Is it?
Show it again, and I'll remember.
Strange
there is
Tales
something
one.
Special about that one.
Okay.
There's some first appearance or something like that. I'm blanking, but I do know that there's a first appearance. I think that clown guy or something like that. Like there's something weird. It's something weird first appearance in there.
Okay,
that's
well,
where we check.
There's no escape from the madness monster. So whether it's the first madness monster or not, I don't know.
Yeah, but it is something. There is something special about that one.
Okay, and a few more Jim Starling stuff. So there was then a self-titled series called Warlock. This is Warlock number 12, and I'm just showing this because it's got a really nice Pip the Troll on the cover.
Oh, that's a really cool cover.
Yeah. So somebody's looking to stab Pip the Troll, and he says, "Now, little man, you die." And he's got a woman on his arms. He's smoking a cigar, and he says, "Well, what a way to go."
Awesomeness, yeah. And so did like what was Starling's involvement with Warlock? Did he write? He
was the writer. At this stage he was writing this.
So he also probably wrote Magnus as a character.
Yeah,
because
probably.
Magnus is like the futuristic.
Yeah, the evil version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So these comics here are written by Starling. So again, Warlock 13. I mean, all this stuff is great. The art's really nice. Star Thief. Yeah, this is when he is Magus, isn't it? This series.
Yeah, that looks like it.
And then, of course, it's Jim Starling, so you can't get too many issues before.
Yeah.
We get
Oh, by the way, that's the first cover appearance of Gamora.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's
that's
got Pip in
a key.
Down
in the
there.
Corner. Yeah.
Yeah, just down here. Yeah, you're a mine of knowledge. I didn't realize. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice cover, actually. It's got Pip Patrol on it as well.
Yeah.
Thanos. Yeah, good cover, that.
Yeah, that's a hot book right now, that book.
Is it? Okay.
Because they, with the announcement of the next Guardians of the Galaxy, they said it's going to be a kind of a story about Nebula and Gamora, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so they're going to put a lot more emphasis on them. So that book got hot. Her first series got hot. A couple other books related to Gamora got hot.
Okay. I didn't realize that was her first cover appearance. Right. And another Warlock. This again, Jim Starling, the writer of this one. This is a relatively cheap book, although it is gaining in price. Warlock and the Infinity.
Whenever I see that book, I always laugh because, if you ever watch, do you know Journo's comics?
Yes, he's got about 100 copies of this, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got like probably a whole long box of them. It's sort of funny. So that book has recently gone up. So it was like he finally hit his gold, his gold mine, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got about 5 or 6 copies of this, and one of them which I bought from you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were $2 each or something.
Yeah, they were.
That. Only a little while ago. I think they've gone up to $15 each or something.
That's
like
correct,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Right, and then this is Jim Starling took over writing the Silver Surfer. I think the 3rd volume of Silver Surfer. And so Silver Surfer 34. And who appears on the cover?
I was going to say, I actually know that cover too. That's another great cover. Thanos.
So yeah, good old Jim Starling.
Is that the origin of some? I think is that the origin book?
I think it might be. Yes. Call him Thanos. Yeah. Call him Death. Yes, it could be the origin of Thanos.
See, I know everything.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good on this. You're better than I am, right? And again, Silver Surfer 35. We got a lovely Silver Surfer.
Oh, that's a great one.
It is a great cover. That one, really nice. And then I've just got the next one. It hasn't got Thanos on it, but we do get Warlock and Captain Marvel appearing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and then my final sort of Jim Starling one. It's another slab. So I started with a slab and then I end with a slab. Again, I bought this comic literally at cover price in 1991. 4 or 5 years ago, I got it slabbed. It's Infinity Gauntlet #1. It's in a 9.6.
That's a great book too.
Yeah. And of course, Jim Starling did work with DC as well. He did the Death in the Family run.
Really?
When they killed. Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah. He was. I think so. Check.
I got
Check
my
to see.
Jim Starling story.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. So that is something I didn't know. You see, we're now educating each other.
You didn't believe me, did you, when I said it was Jim Starling? And
yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I didn't realize. That's cool.
This is going to surprise you as well. So this is, you'll recognize the cover and you'll know who the artist is, but I bet you didn't know Jim Starling. Jim Starling wrote it.
Actually, I think I did know that, actually.
Oh, you did know that one. Okay.
Yeah, because I had that book and I don't know where it went. I somehow lost that book. And it drives me nuts because now it's a really expensive book.
This is an expensive book. I mean, this has gone up hugely in the last 3. This is one of the few DC books.
With Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, it's Todd McFarlane doing Batman. It's a really nice cover.
And in a way, it's kind of like a prototype for Spawn. Like, in a way. Like, you know, I'm like...
cape, I absolutely...
The cape has life to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah.
So that's my Jim Starling collection.
That's a good one. Yeah. But the way though, one issue is Batman: Death in the Family does not have Thanos. So I don't know if it's truly a Starling book or not.
Well, no, I said when he worked for Marvel, he tried to write Thanos. I don't think DC would have let him write about Thanos because they'd have got sued by Marvel.
So yeah, that's funny. But that's a really good pick. You know, I was sort of like, when we were kind of preparing for this video, I was kind of looking around my room and I was sort of thinking about a lot of these 70s artists, 70s writers like Jack Kirby and Starling, actually, but I wasn't quite in that Starling mind. But I was like looking around my room, and it's just like, that's a really great choice because you know, I was thinking I think he's one of the big writers in terms of like you know, Marvel. I would say, like, you know, one of their top.
Yeah, he's not
5.
quite as big as Kirby or Ditko, but you know, he's there. He's there in the second tier, I think. And he's a really nice guy. I've seen a number of interviews with Jim Starlin, and he's so down to earth and, you know, unassuming, and he's really quite funny. So yeah, if you get a chance to see a Jim Starlin interview, seek them out on YouTube.
I recorded a video about it was like a couple of videos ago for my, you know, Q&A videos. And I read an interview from Jim Starling where it was basically the article was about how a lot of these writers, and when they create a character, they don't get much thank you. Like basically they get $5,000 and a premiere ticket, right? Like a ticket to the premiere. So, you know, and Jim Starling was actually quite humble about it. You know, he was like, you know, he was quite good about it. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, like, his view was, you know, I got paid at the time for doing the work.
Yeah.
You know,
that's all you can expect in a way.
Yeah, and you know,
this is a bonus to him, right?
If he'd taken royalties on Thanos, I think he'd be a lot richer now. Yeah,
I mean, you think of that series, that like Infinity Gauntlet series, and it's like, wow, $3 or $4 billion or something like that, or $5 billion. You know, it's crazy.
I have to tell you the best story I know about royalties. So it's from Star Wars, when Alec Guinness, who was the actor who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, was probably one of the biggest known names in the film, because a lot of the other actors were unknown. So he was probably the best known actor. And they said to him, you can either take this, they said to him, we'll give you a choice. You can either have this fee, or you can have 1% royalties on all Star Wars stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he
obviously he went with the fee.
He went with the fee. Can you imagine?
Well, if you look at the early Star Wars stuff, like when it was just starting and when they were kind of producing it, it was very shoestring. It was like, is this going to be like an indie movie that's not going to go anywhere? It looked pretty low end.
Yeah, Alec Guinness thought it was rubbish. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's a stupid kids film."
Exactly. So, oh well, people.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably only have earned about 100,000 times more than he earned in his whole career just by taking the royalties.
Yeah. That would have been pretty huge. I think it's like, in that tens of billion dollar level. Like, so oh well. What's a few billion dollars?
Yeah, to be honest, he didn't live too much longer after that, so he would have
might
been
not have realized it even.
Yeah, it would have been his estate that benefited mainly.
But yeah, I did know that about Alec Guinness, not about the royalty thing, but that I knew that he was the kind of the star, and
the
everyone else
star.
was like and actually that was kind of the thing George Lucas really wanted to do. He wanted unknown actors. He wanted to sort of like, do it that way. I think it worked out better, that he did. It was great. Yeah. I really like Star Wars. The original Star Wars. I gotta say that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. So we didn't really talk much about Jim Starling, but we talked about Eternals. We talked about all this other stuff, but really great choice. What can I say? So thanks again for showing your Arthur. What we'll do is we'll go on to part 2 on your channel now.
Yeah.
And I recommend everyone check out Mark's channel. I'll link it at the end of this video, and I will link it in the description. So you get double linked to Mark's channel. So definitely check out his channel. Thanks again, Mark.
Great as always, Alan. Bye.
Okay. Bye.